All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Prosperity Team Hangout, where we do this hangout every single Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And our main mission is to always provide you with as much value and inspiration and motivation as we possibly can. So tonight we wanted to do something a little bit special. I wanted to bring the ladies on tonight because their husbands are out there doing their thing. Okay, their husbands are out there, just kicking butt every single day, and we kind of wanted to bring the ladies out so that they can share. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a feedback. Is that one of you playing that?
I'm muted, so ladies, can you make sure mute yourselves out?
Yes, please mute yourselves because somebody's playing it. Okay, I think that was me. Sorry about that, guys. I found it, so I shut it off. Okay, so anyway, yes. So I wanted to bring the ladies out because, as spouse, as wives, and even the husbands out there that have internet marketing wives, such as myself, I'm the internet marketer in my household. But I wanted to bring the ladies out here because they're the ones that hold down the fort. They're the ones that take care of the kids most of the time. They're the ones that, really are the backbone to the husband being successful. And I know that I spoke to a lot of people, men in particular, who have had spouses that were very unsupportive. And so if you're one of those guys, get excited because the questions that I'm going to be asking these ladies tonight, I'm hoping will help you and inspire you. And if you're sitting there with your wife or if she's in the other room, get her on here. Have her sit here with you so that she can get inspired to support you in your online marketing journey. So with that being said, before I bring out the ladies, I'll quickly introduce myself. Again, my name is Lisa Torres. I'm the host of the Prosperity Team Hangout that we do here Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I've been online for 6 years now, full-time, making a full-time income online. And again, as I said, I'm the internet marketer in my household. But, I've been online for 6 years. I've earned six figures in the last year alone. And, I know what it takes to build a business online. Just like these women here tonight know what it takes for their husbands to be able to create the lifestyle of everybody's dreams, really. And so I'm excited to have these ladies. So I'm going to just shut up. I don't want to talk too much about myself because it's not about me tonight. It's about them. You guys have been here to the Hangouts every Wednesday night, so you already know who I am. But I just wanted to give a quick introduction. I'm going to start out with Anna Zubarev. Anna Zubarev is Alex Zubarev's wife. Very good friend of mine. We've been friends for, I don't know, like almost a year online. I actually met her at an offline event. She was very, very friendly. She came up to me and introduced herself to me, which I thought was pretty awesome because not a lot of people do that. Especially when they're high-level people such as herself and her husband. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself, and then I'm going to start introducing everybody else and then start asking them questions. So get your pen and papers out and get ready for some really valuable information that you can take and apply starting tonight. So Anna, introduce yourself a little bit, and I'm going to move on to Christy and let her introduce herself too.
Well, hello everybody. Once again, I am truly excited to be here. It has been a long time that that I've attended in-person Prosperity Hangout, and again, it's truly honored to be here to speak my truth to you, to tell a little bit about me and my story, my journey, both my story and our we story, as we call it, right? When we get married, we become we, the French word we for yes, and English word we for us. So my story is a little bit, I guess I'm not going to call it average, right? Because we're not average. I never considered myself as an average person. First and foremost, because I came to this country over 20 years ago with no English, with no skills, with no knowledge about how mentality of people were, how mentality worked, how any of it worked. So basically, I was here fresh out of the oven, if you call. We actually, being Russian immigrant, we call ourselves OTBs, of the boat. So I was an of the boat person at the time, back in 1992, coming here with no knowledge, with nothing, right? Nothing behind me. With there was no finances, there was no parents that gave me any startup with anything. So basically, everything that I achieved in my life before meeting my husband, Alex, everything I was able to achieve, I did it myself. I was very financially independent because for me, financial independence meant everything and everything. I um, I was raised in a rather, um, I would say, not like somewhere low mid income level family, where we didn't struggle. In my childhood, I had a really happy childhood. But again, if I wanted to have something so badly, maybe my parents would have gotten to me by the time it was my birthday or something like that, or on a special occasion. So by the time when I came to America, for me, earning money, my own money, and saving money was very important from the very early on. So I went to work. I finished 2 year college. I became a professional, and my industry, the two industries that I worked for the past 15 years before becoming an entrepreneur, it was mortgage industry. It was for over 10 years, and then I switched working for human resources area for banking industry. So you could tell it was corporate all the way, guys. So all my background, all my knowledge, all my skills, I picked up working my way up in the corporate ladder, if you will. But here's the kicker, guys. In my entire corporate career, I never thought in a million years that I would be doing what I'm doing here right in front of you right now. My life has transformed 180 degrees, guys, if not more. My vision, the things that I want in my life, what I want in my life right now, today, it's obviously freedom, guys. This is what we all want. We want to be able to choose for ourselves. We wanted to be able to make financial decisions, how we perceive them, right? But working in the corporate world never allowed me that chance to do that. A, because it was 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And I always had to ask permission to go and take a fucking vacation, excuse my French, guys. And I'm gonna give you a disclosure. I am gonna be cussing, all right? So I'm a fresh mouth, just as Lisa. So again, so that really drove me crazy, guys. That I couldn't really feel free. And again, making good income still did not allow myself or my husband choose what we wanted to do in our lives, right? Travel the world, which we love to do, meet amazing people that we have met for the past 2 years, guys. My life has been transformed not only because of our will and desire to do bigger and better things, but because of the people that have surrounded us, including Meghan, Kim, and Christy, and their husbands. Guys, when you surround your people, and I'm going to say this phrase to you guys, which is a cliche, right? And I'm sure you've read millions of quotes, and I'm big on quotes. Reading quotes and being surrounded by people who lift you up and inspire you, it's like becoming one of them, guys. You are who you surround yourself with. So you always have to remember that, guys. To me, this is the most important factor, guys. You have to cut out bullshit out of your life. You have to cut out the negative people out of your life completely. And what I'm going to tell you this, guys, and you might like it or not, or whoever it is, it doesn't matter to me. Your opinion, the naysayers, right? The naysayers' opinion does not pay my fucking bills. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you have that person in your life who constantly nags you or tells you, oh, you're doing some scammy blah, blah, blah thing or whatever, whatnot, listen, that person is not paying your freaking bills. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is my point here, guys. You have to stand your ground. You have to believe in something greater than listening or watching stupid news. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I'm coming from. And I don't want to take entire time to myself. I would love to give the opportunity to have Meghan and Kim and Christy speak and tell their story. I mean, I didn't mean to take my story for the longest run here, but again, guys, you are who you surround yourself with, right? You become who you surround yourself with. So this is the most important thing you guys need to remember. But
Thank you, Anna. Yes, thank you. And don't worry, I'm going to come back to you and start picking some more brains because I actually do have some questions for you and I'm going to get back to you. But
go ahead.
before I do that, let's move on to Christy Hobbs. Christy Hobbs is actually Mike Hobbs' wife. Mike Hobbs is one of the leaders inside of the prosperity team. In fact, he dedicates a lot of time trying to, not trying, successfully building the prosperity team and the amount of, training that we have inside of our system. So just like the rest of the ladies, I am completely grateful for this woman's husband because he is actually my virtual mentor. I spy on him like crazy. It's not even funny. But with that being said, I want to welcome you, Christy. I don't know if your mic is on or not. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. Yes, okay. I can hear you good. So, Christy, just introduce yourself a little bit, and then I'm gonna pick your brain too tonight because there's a few questions that I actually want to ask you because I know a little bit of you and Mike's story, and I know that the questions I'm gonna ask is definitely the answers that you give are definitely going to. I know that they're definitely gonna help the people that are watching. So, with that being said, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Christy Hobbs. Anna might hit me next time she sees me, but in '92 I was 7, maybe 8. No, I was 7. So sorry, Anna. But Mike and I's story, like back in high school when I was getting ready for college, I kind of thought, okay, well, I want to go get my business degree. I want to do big things, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have this big corporate job. I'm gonna have a big fancy office. But I wasn't quite sure how to get there or how like my family would come into play. I just kind of thought, oh, it'll happen. And so I met Mike my second year of college, and he was actually deployed to Iraq, if you guys don't know that. We met through a social media site and just started talking, whatnot, and then he came home on leave and we started dating. And, the rest is history. We're through that, but when he was over there, he kept talking about, oh, I want to do real estate. He came home, he drove 5 hours twice a week each way to Salt Lake City, where he did like mortgage officer classes, and he did that for a month or two, but he got his mortgage license, he started doing that, and then everything tanked. And this was right before we got married, and so he then switched to, well, I can still work online or I can try it. And we just spent a lot of time. He would go out and do things and I would try and do things, and we tried normal, I guess not normal, but like the home parties where we'd go to the Opportunity every week, and then we'd go to people's houses and, hey, can we talk to you, and can we assess your financial needs? And wow, if you've ever done that, I'm sure a lot of people in here have. For me, they were really like nerve-wracking and always afraid of what I was gonna say. But so we, just kept working, kept trying to do things online, and we just kept tanking in everything that we tried. And then, over the years, Mike just got better and better, and we learned more things. And then it got to the point where we started having kids, and then I couldn't do a lot because I was trying to take care of the kids and he was doing other things. And I know that there are women out there who they work a job, they do their online business, and they've got multiple kids. And I commend those women because I can't do that. I can barely keep my head up with the 4 kids that we've got. And I make do, but sometimes I have to have that extra little bit of help, and that's nice. But it's nice that because of where we're at now, I can have somebody come in and help me versus just me trying to do it all by myself. So I don't know. Hopefully that's a good enough introduction.
Yes, and I'm going to come back and ask you questions because I definitely want to. I definitely have some questions, specific questions to ask you as well. So thank you.
Cool, cool.
The next person that I want to bring out, excuse me, is Kim Sousa. Now, Kim Sousa, I have not. I don't think we actually met yet. I know that I met her husband, who is Kevin Sousa. So I'm excited to have her hanging out with us tonight and sharing a little bit of her story as well. So Kim, share a little bit about what your background is with your husband, and a little bit of that. I can't hear you, Kim. You're muted. You're muted, Kim.
I thought it. Okay, I'm
There
trying.
you go. Uh-oh, you're muted again.
Can you hear me?
You got to make sure that, yep, you got, exactly. There you
Can
go.
you hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, sorry about that. It looked like it was unmuted here on this side. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I did get a chance in Miami. We didn't really get to talk and really get to know each other, but I did have the pleasure of participating and observing your training on our mastermind, which is wonderful. I got a lot of value from that, so thank you. And I've also met the other ladies in person at various events, so it's a pleasure to know you all. Thanks for inviting me here tonight. So I'll give you a little bit about my story. I actually, in the offline world, working a job ever since high school, so that's been a long time. I'm in business. I'm an accounting clerk, and a senior accounting clerk for a large transportation company. Actually went to college and got a degree in business administration with a major in accounting. So I've been in the business world, and I started a family, and like a lot of people, got into debt. My husband and I at the time, we got into a lot of debt, and we found that our daughter was special needs, so that brought a lot of challenges. And because of child care issues around having a special needs child, we ended up incurring debt and having bills. And I got into a situation in 2008 where I was completely stressed. I had bill collectors calling. It was just barely enough to pay everything. And then I had this child that has autism, epilepsy, and she had therapy. I didn't have the money to do it. And, as I looked at her, I saw a lot of potential. And if she had the right therapy, I thought she could really have a normal life. And they say it's so important to have it at an early age, to have that early intervention. I couldn't do that for her. I didn't have the money. When I looked it up, the cost of the therapy was my annual income on my job. There was just no way. There would be no money left to live. So that's the position I was in, and I wanted to take the stress off of the bills. I was the only income provider for a while. So I worked full-time, provided all the income, took care of Ashley, and provided most of her care. So with giving her baths and everything, she still doesn't give herself. So I really needed another job, but I didn't want to be away from her longer. I was already working 40 hours a week. So the solution I came up with was to get online. I'd heard you could make money on the internet, so I got online and started to make money online so I could make extra money from home without being away from her even more than I already was. And that has worked out great. I got a laptop, and she actually started getting on her laptop, and we sat side by side at the kitchen table. So I was able to be with her and be online and start creating income. When I first started out, I didn't know what to do, and I poked around, and I found simple things to do, like doing surveys. So I did surveys, and I found some legitimate companies. I made dollars, but that wasn't enough to pay bills. $15 here and $20 there, it wasn't enough to get the bill collectors off my back. So I did something more than that. And as you know, a lot of these little things where you click on ads and you get paid, you get paid a few pennies here and there. that wasn't going to do it either. So then I learned about residual income just from poking around forums and things. And I thought, that is what I need. I need residual income that I can build and scale it up and coming in month after month. That's something that can really make a difference and be like a second income, like working a second job. So I started looking at that, and I actually and signed up in a company that had residual income. And when I did, that's how I met Kevin. He actually had paid for an ad, and so I was cold traffic coming to him. I went through social media. I didn't know him. I didn't have a clue who he was. So he actually picked up the phone and called me and invited me, welcomed me to the business. And I kind of gave him the cold shoulder. I was not expecting a phone call because the other things I had done, no one had ever called me. And so he was like, I want to help you get started and welcome. And I'm like, okay, if I need help, I'll let you know. So I just kind of, brushed him aside because I didn't know him. So that's kind of a funny start to our story. So we started working together. I started going to his webinars he was holding for that primary business, which is a previous business that we were in. And I started attending webinars, and I got plugged into the system and started learning about creating residual income and working with him. And then last year, we got married a year ago, so now we are in another business now in Empower, and we've become very successful with that, and we work the business together. I still have a full-time job, still work in accounting for the same company, and I'm not ready to purchase healthcare on my own yet. But because, we have good health care through the employer, but I do have a busy life because I still work full-time and come home and, spend time with Kevin and Ashley. So that's a bit about our story, how we've got started. Back to you, Lisa.
That is an incredible story. Hey, cold traffic converted into a wife. You gotta love that. I could see the headline now. How to get your dream wife through cold traffic. That is an awesome story. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. The next person I want to bring out is the lovely Meghan Hepker. Why do I always mess up your last name?
Everybody does.
I want to say Meghan Hepker, but I can't say that.
Just say soon to be Whiting. Let's go with that.
Yes, Meghan soon to be Whiting. As a matter of fact, no soon to be. The date is set. She and Adam are actually officially tying the knot. So tonight we are going to call her Meghan Whiting. Period.
I'll take it.
Meghan and I have been friends for Meghan and I have been friends. We met through the Prosperity Team. We've been friends for actually a few months now. She's actually the wife of the future wife, the soon-to-be wife, of one of the top guys in the Prosperity Team. One of the guys who actually started the Prosperity Team. In fact, Adam and Mike Hobbs were the first to start the Prosperity Team, and they formed this really, really huge community, and they put a lot of energy into, creating a community of like-minded entrepreneurs with the training and the value and the systems and all these things that they have provided to us. Meghan, I just want to let you just thank Adam for us, and Christy, thank Mike for us, because we really, really appreciate you guys. So, Meghan, share a little bit about your story, and then I'm going to jump over to Anna so I can pick her brain.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, where do I start? Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've gotten to hang out with you and Anna on a hangout at the same time. Life is crazy. Planning a wedding and going to Miami in January, and life has just been insanity, but in a good way. No, where do I start? Holy crap. Well, Adam and I have known each other for 10 years. We actually were high school sweethearts. We dated all through high school, and finally in college decided to go our separate ways and just grow. We ended up in the same city at the same time, going through life circumstances Me in particular, I had to move back to the city that we grew up in because I lost my job. I lost pretty much everything I owned, and I was officially on the unemployment line. So I had a lot of decisions to make back then, and lo and behold, I got back home, and I wasn't home 4 months, and Adam and I's paths crossed again, which is kind of cool. And we found each other again, and we had obviously grown in different directions, but it was just really cool to get to know each other again and feel each other out. And at this point in time, he had started working online. He was doing it full time, but he was not in Empower Network yet. At this time, he was doing pretty much everything known to mankind, not residual income. We were selling a lot of health products. I was going to school full-time, finishing a degree, and he had a daughter, so he was raising a little one. He was a newly single father, so we were both really navigating and figuring out life together. So it was cool, but it was really hard to kind of do that for a while. But then, lo and behold, Empower Network came along and sort of changed his life. You know, I allowed him to work at home because that's what he wanted to do, and he was making good money, but it wasn't great money yet. You know, we weren't seeing the kind of money where we could both stay at home and live out things together. I was still working a full-time job, and I liked it. You know, I liked what I did. I was a full-time massage therapist. I worked with a lot of patients within a chiropractic office, and I loved the environment. I love taking care of people. And so Adam continued to grow his business, and we decided a few months after dating that we were going to move to a different city. And that was extremely scary. We decided we were going to pack our bags, move away from our families, and at this point we had been living in his parents' basement. So I had been working full-time. He had been giving it his all from his parents' basement. We couldn't afford a place in the city that we lived in yet, and we just decided, screw it, we're going to move. We have the money now. We got a beautiful home in a city a couple hours away from our hometown, and we moved in, and we took a plunge, and that was really scary. We didn't know what was going to happen with his income. We didn't know if this great and glorious thing that had fell into our lap was going to last. We had no idea. We had no idea that Adam was going to come up with a lot more ideas that, you know, have led us to this point. But we didn't even know if we could afford to pay the next month's rent. You know, we were not scraping to get by, but we were pretty much throwing everything we had into life. And everything ended up working out. We moved into a new home, and, you know, we were starting to learn to live together, which we all know how that goes. We were starting, you know, we were raising a 2-year-old together, just figuring life out. And in October, I was still working full-time. It was October of 2012, and I went to work one day, and I hadn't felt this before, but I had to leave Madeline, his daughter, who I adore, and we are very close. I had to leave her at home, and it was like this gut-wrenching void in my heart that just, it hurt so bad. And I know that Anna gets it very much, and Christy and Kim, because they're all moms. But I didn't think that could happen to me yet because, you know, Maddie's my stepdaughter, but I love her like my own, and so I was feeling those feelings. And I also realized in October that Adam is a dreamer. He is a dreamer and a doer, and he just, beyond comparison, just believes in himself so much. And it's crazy to me. In October, I realized sitting at my desk at work, I'm not a dreamer. And it's so easy to get caught up when you're going to work every day and you're working your 9 to 5, or you're working, you know, a 10-hour day. And some of you even work way more than that. You know, some of you worked 60-hour weeks. I did. I realized I hadn't dreamed in a long time. And Adam and I hadn't even dreamed up anything together. You know, we hadn't talked about the house we were going to live in. And when I say dream, I mean dream. Like, I mean, like, you dream of going to places. Like, I dream of going to Italy. I dream of going, you know, to all these countries that I've never visited before. And I have all these plans, and you just don't, it's like you're not a dreamer anymore. You know, you get sucked into that life. You forget how to have a dream. And I realized at work one day that I forgot how to have a dream. And Adam, you know, was over here dreaming and living up this life, and I was just kind of stuck. And I always supported him. I've always believed in him. But I don't think you can really be on the same page together until you start dreaming together. And I came home from work that day, and I actually looked at him and I said, I'm not going back to work. Like, I don't care what it's going to take, but I wanted to dream with him. And I wanted to dream about everything. I didn't just want to dream about traveling. I wanted to dream about the house I was going to live in, and, you know, the dog that I wanted, and what kind of countertops could I dream up? You know, what's my dream life look like? What's my dream home look like? You know, what does that look like? I hadn't even thought of it. And so I guess my advice to you guys out there right now, watching, and I've met so many of you that have spouses, and Lisa's right, she said mostly males, she means mostly males. I too meet mostly males with spouses who have a very negative light about the internet, and is it a scam, and oh, you're scheming something again. Well, Adam schemes things all the damn time. It never shuts off. But, you know, it's just, my advice to you would be, it's not negative. You know, I guess I've always supported Adam. Like I said, I've always believed in him. But I didn't fully respect what he was doing, or could I understand, until I said, I'm going to learn this. Okay, I'm going to see what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing when I'm at work. And so I jumped in head first. I started learning the ropes of Empower Network and what people were doing. And, you know, I found out, like, it's not, being in the spotlight, not always for me, but I will back him, and I do things for him every single day. You know, we run this business together. And just because I'm not out there all the time doesn't mean that I'm not helping. I'm not, you know, doing my part of the business, because I very much am. And I don't know, it's just, it's great. It's not negative at all. I can't say that any part of this journey has been easy, because it hasn't. Adam slept with his, still sleeps until I pass 2 lunches. He's still sleeping with his, you know, he sleeps with his MacBook, you know, he sleeps with his laptop. So more than he sleeps with me. So it's a sacrifice. It's a give and it's a take, you know. And I understand that it's hard. It is so hard. But you have to start dreaming, you know, and start dreaming together, and start, you know, inspiring and instilling things in one another. Because when Adam and I started dreaming together, and we started, you know, building up this huge life that we wanted together, guess what happened? It came true. You know, we did it together, and it came true. Our dreams have slowly, ever since then, started, you know, to come true. And now here we are, 3 months from marriage, living in a home that we absolutely adore. We're happy, we're traveling, and, you know, you can't think of it in a negative light. You have to think of it in a positive light. If I wouldn't have, you know, dove into marketing with Adam and learned what he was doing, and learned Empower Network, and started traveling with him. I started traveling with him only a year ago, in January, if you can believe that. And that's when I met Anna. She was one of the very first people I ever got the pleasure of meeting. And I can't say that there's a single day that goes by that I regret that, or that I think that that's negative, you know, because Anna, we've helped each other grow. And here she is going to come. I mean, I have all these friends now to invite to this wedding that we're having. It's crazy. I got friends coming from all corners of the world just to see us get married, you know. And these aren't just friends. These are like family members. These are like, you know, like Kim and Kevin. That's like a second set of parents, you know. And Christy and Mike, I mean, I don't even know. Christy's like a sister I never had. Her kids are my kids. I love them dearly. And same with Anna. You know, I get little cards from Anna and talk to Anna. And, you know, the great thing about Anna is you can not talk to the woman for a month and you come back a month later and she's still got the same attitude, the same energy, the same personality. It's unwavering. You find people with an unwavering dedication to you, and they just want to be in your life and be your friend. And this business that Adam and I have worked on together and love doing, we can't imagine our life without any of the people that have, you know, come with it. And it has its ups and it has its downs, and it's a roller coaster ride of emotions, and you're going to get pissed at each other and you're going to, you know, want to throw things and whatever, but at the end of the day, the positive outweighs the negative, and you can really make your dreams come true with something. So that's a little bit about us.
That was beautiful, Meghan. I love when you said that, you know, you have to step up and dream together.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm going to come back to that dreaming part in just a second.
Sure.
Let's move over to Anna. Anna, at one point, Anna, you were, and by the way, your mic is on, just so you know. At one point, Anna, when you guys were working a full-time job and Alex decided that he wanted to venture off into this internet marketing world, at one point, if I can recall, you were quite skeptical. Right?
Wow. Yeah, well.
Tell me.
Skeptic is my middle name.
Yeah. Tell me, at what point was it? Because I know that there's a lot of people right now, men with, you know, men that are into internet marketing and have wives just in the background, or women into internet marketing who have husbands or boyfriends or whatever, or fiancés or whatever in the background, and a little bit skeptical. So at what point, when he decided, listen, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do this full time, at what point were you like, oh, no. I don't believe in this stuff. You know, the skepticism is what I want to know. At what point did that shift?
All right. Wow. I'm going to try to make it short and crystal clear for everybody. What happened, Alex joined affiliate marketing, MLM industry in 2008. This is where he started to try to sell the juices. And he was a newbie, completely newbie at the time. So I'm like, all right, let's give it a try, right? Let's drink the juice as a whole family. Let's get healthy and blah, 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 blah. But then when he was not producing, and by the way, Lisa, your video is off, by the way, just FYI. So when he started to produce, when he did not produce, this is where I started to begin to question him. Babes, I'm like, dude, paying $150 additionally out of our budget a month for something that we can easily buy it in any other store that has acai berry in it, right? Like, why do I need to buy this stuff? And then there was other stuff. There was so many other companies that he would join under the sun that drove me up to a zoo, because we would constantly get order ships of this stuff and that stuff and everything. It was just piling up, and the debt was rising. And this is where I'm like, dude, it's time to pull your hair out. This is ridiculous. My skepticism, as much as I believed in my husband always, I couldn't really understand, why do we need to do any of this crap? I'm like, dude, like, we always wanted to be self-employed. We always wanted to have our own business, but I couldn't see myself working retail business, like a brick and mortar business. I couldn't see myself doing that, sacrificing my freedom, sacrificing my time away from the things that I wanted to do in my life, right? It would be the same thing as working your 9-to-5 job. I don't want to be tied to anything specific because once again, like I said previously, I love to travel. I love to go to places and we don't think about the freaking bills. This is my life today, guys. This is where Alex and I get up, we book a trip, and off we go, right? This was not the case. So again, coming back to my skepticism worked the way it worked only because I did not believe the products he was trying to sell. I've always believed in my husband. We've been married since 2000. So therefore, if you guys are in a relationship that you don't trust each other, there is no communication, I'm sorry to say to you guys that there's no point of your relationship, period, right? If you have to hide something from your spouse, if you cannot trust your spouse 100%, I'm sorry to say to you, I'm not a professional advisor on this, but my opinion, your relationship needs work. So therefore, once again, I trust my husband 100% to today, and if I wouldn't trust him, I wouldn't be married to him. So guys, trust in a relationship is important, so is the communication, right? Compromise is another thing, right? So I compromise my skepticism. I compromise so many other things, right? Like the budget stuff. Like we didn't buy that because we had to buy that, right? That stupid product we didn't even use. So my skepticism ended, guys, only when he started to produce. This was the crucial point of I'm like, aha, so this is my aha moment. So when my husband started to produce and he started to bring even something small, right? And I'm not talking about $300 a month, right? I'm not talking about even $500 a month, right? This was okay because it was not steady. I'm like, okay, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's good to have it. It's not like we're going to donate it or do nothing with it, right? It's good to have it. So when Alex started to produce, bring $1,000 constantly, or $3,000 or $5,000 a month and more, right? This is where I'm like, all right, let me see what it is he's doing. Let me dive in. Let me be a curious cat. Let me find out how can I figure it out what it is that he's doing now, right? So maybe I could add myself as a value to a team and make this work together. This is how my mentality worked, guys. This is how my skepticism ended. And this is when I decided to join forces with Meghan and a couple of other ladies and do Women's Lounge and speak my mind. So Women's Lounge, when I did them, this gave me my groundbreaking freedom, like kind of a road, right, where I could speak my mind, I could be who I am, right, without thinking somebody's going to be judging me. I couldn't care less if you judge me right here, right now. I couldn't care less. But that's just my personality, guys. So again, coming back to the story when I met Meghan back in Austin, January of 2013, this is where my mind shift had a transition, guys. This is where I began thinking, and because again, let me just explain why I'm saying this, why I began thinking the way I'm thinking today. My mind shift happened was due to respect, to say it again, to Meghan. Meghan was the one who told me, so she's doing this, she's doing that, and she was like, Anna, why can't you do that? I'm like, well, I probably could, so I did, right? And I'm here right in front of you right now, right, speaking to you what it is that have happened to me. So mind shift, guys, is extremely important. When your spouse is in denial of you doing something, if your spouse is not in the loop of what it is that you're doing, you're not helping her or him understand what it is that you're doing. So my best advice to you guys, make sure you are in 100% connection with your spouse. You need to communicate. You need to be somehow like, think of it this way, guys. Just like at work, back in our jobs, right? They made us be a team players, right? Same thing goes in your relationship. If you want your spouse to help you out, you have to be a team player to that spouse. You need to ask or maybe somehow propose, see if that spouse can somehow participate first initially in watching your hangouts, right? Or watching some kind of a webinar by some amazing personal development coach, right? That actually can help them transition their psyche. Okay, so my initial participation was when Alex started to attend the Empower Hour calls, and then he started to do his own team hangouts. This is where, again, guys, I'm gonna repeat that this is where I was able to watch him, what it is that he's doing, and trying to understand what it is he's doing, right, and try to participate sometimes, right. And I don't know if you've seen me in his hangouts, but again, that was a long time ago. We still do them together. We still participate in other people's hangouts. And we still help each other out, right, as much as we can. But again, nowadays in our business, I do help our business grow by connecting all the dots through social media. This is my world. I love it, and I couldn't live without it. Look at it this way, right? Me and my social media are two best friends. So this is what I do. But again, guys, being a mother of two, I cannot dedicate 24 hours a day to this business. I can only dedicate few hours in the morning and few hours when kids go to bed. And like yesterday, we went to sleep at 1:30, and I got up at 6:30, guys. There's no excuse, right? Because this is your business, guys. There's no excuse for you not to get up early, do what you need to do to make it happen, guys. There's no excuses. Because you're self-employed, you're entrepreneur, you need to think as one. Because, guys, entrepreneurs, people, they sleep less, but they produce a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? When you get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm sorry if I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings right now, but that's BS, guys. My morning starts at 6:30, and every single night I go to bed after midnight. That's how much I sleep. Alex's story is different. He goes to sleep around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, but then he sleeps until 10 o'clock. And I'm going to say it again. 10 o'clock is an excuse to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs, in my vision, need to get up early because in the morning your mind works differently, guys. You know, that's my point of view. You don't have to agree with it. When you get up early, you get a lot of stuff done, much more productive than versus you getting up at 10 or 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? In the day. So that's my point of view on that. So to make the story clear for you guys, again, my mind shift happened when Alex started to produce. So if you will start producing, at least bringing $25 or $100 a month, guys, this would be your first initial proof to your spouse. So look, honey, look what I made. So you've doubted me, right? But this is happening, guys, right? This is how you need to somehow do a social proof to your spouse. The same thing, you need to do a social proof to your team, right? And I think personally, when in the beginning stages of your production, you do need to brag about your social proof. You need to do it in a way so people can see, recognize that you're doing something right, you're doing something that is producing you money. That means you're doing something. So that's what how I have to answer this for you, Lisa.
Thank you, Anna. And here's one thing that I took away from what you said. Mm-hmm. Basically, produce in order for your spouse to be on board, or at least get on the same page and help each other, with the business.
Yes.
Get your wife or your husband involved with the business. Give them something to do, or maybe you can brainstorm together, or even get them to watch a hangout like this, where we're talking about this kind of topic. Excuse me. So thank you for that, Anna.
Oh,
the next
welcome.
person I want to bring out is Meghan, and I know she only has about a few minutes because she's going out on a hot date with Adam. So I'm going to bring Meghan out so she could share really quickly before she leaves. She talked about dreaming. She talked about getting involved with the activities that your spouse is actually trying to produce. Like, he's trying to produce results so that he can dream. and they're dreaming bigger and they're dreaming together. So what exactly does that mean for you, Meghan, when you say, or I should say, what advice would you give to the person that's watching right now who has a spouse that's kind of, I don't know about this internet thing. I don't know if this is really going to work. What advice would you give to that person as far as getting the spouse involved and dreaming bigger to live the lifestyle that you're living right now?
Such a good question. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that I have to leave your beautiful faces a few minutes early, but when your husband's an entrepreneur, you take whatever time you can get, okay? I got a busy man right now. So I'm going to let him take me out on a hot date. Oh, and secondly, I have to call out Anna for a second because I am so proud of you. I just want to give it up to you for a second. Somebody just called you the Instagram mama, and it made me smile so big.
Yes, I'm officially Instagram addict, all right? I am, I admit.
But no, you have powerful trainings out there, and it's only been a year, and you've grown immensely. I just want to say that I love you, and I'm super proud of you. So much love to you. Okay, here we go.
I really appreciate you, Ming. Really, really. If it wasn't for you, honestly, for the words that you said to me on that bus in Austin, Texas, I honestly can say I don't even know where I would be. I would be probably lost like a puppy, right?
Well, I'm glad that our paths crossed.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Well, let's see. Okay, so going back to Lisa's question. Okay, it is hard to be the spouse of an entrepreneur. You really have to learn how to sync together. And when I say dream together, I mean you need to have these conversations. You know, I think a lot of guys that I've talked to, they get into this business, and like Anna said, they don't even fill their wife in on what they're doing. And maybe you're a wife who hasn't told their husband. I don't know. It could go either way. But a lot of times that's how the story starts out. Well, I bought into an internet business, and now my wife, she found out about it, and she's mad, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with it, and I'm on the laptop all the time, and she just doesn't get it. She just doesn't understand. She's not like you. Okay, I hear that a lot. Oh no, don't go there, because she is probably like me in one way or another. You have to have a lot of patience, and you have to have a lot of patience for each other. And, like I said, I've always supported and believed in Adam. Anna said the same thing. She's always supported and believed in Alex. Did I ever think it wasn't going to work out? No. I don't let myself always think of the negative. Did I know it was going to happen? Absolutely not. Anything can happen. This isn't an easy roller coaster ride to be on sometimes. And like I said before, you're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs. But I think the important thing to remember, and I tell guys this all the time, is you have to go back to the reason you got married, or the reason that you are living together. You trust each other. You trust where you're at in life together. You have to trust that your husband or your wife knows what he or she is doing. You have to trust. And it might not work out. It might not. But I meet a lot of guys, and I say guys because I have yet to meet a female with an unsupportive spouse. But I meet a lot of people who say, that their marriage is literally crumbling because of internet marketing. And that's just insane to me. And like Anna said, if your marriage is crumbling because of internet marketing, I think you probably already have a shaky foundation. But I think with Adam and I, the key to our happiness has been balance. And Adam has blessed me with the opportunity through his hard work to be able to live the life that I'm living now. And I'm very grateful for that because it's a good life. And I get to do the things that I'm passionate about that I wouldn't probably get to do if I had to go into my office every single day. I'm studying to be a yoga instructor right now. Huge deal for me. That is a huge dream that I've had for so long that I never thought in a million years I would get to accomplish or get to do. So thank you to my honey for blessing me with this amazing life. But for us, it was a balance. Balance is really, really hard. And I think this is something that guys especially, you struggle with. Women are good jugglers. They can balance the kids, and they can balance work, and they can balance cooking and cleaning, and they can balance, all the things that a woman can do. It's crazy, right? So, like, I can do laundry and work on the business at the same time. Like, I'm a great multitasker. Men, especially my man, he has one track. Like, he is focused in his laptop pretty much all damn day. So for us, it was a balance issue, because let me tell you, when I moved in with this internet entrepreneur and I was still working full-time, I would work, 10-hour days and then come home, and at this time I had no idea what Adam did all day. I knew that he worked online, okay? That's it. So I would get pissy if I came home and he was home all day and there was dishes in the sink, or there was no dinner made. It's like 9 p.m. and I haven't eaten yet. Where's dinner? Okay, so I would get pissy about little things like that, and little things like that take a toll on your relationship, right? So for us, the key was balance and communication. Okay, those are the first two ingredients to a healthy entrepreneurial relationship. Balance and communication. If you can't talk to each other and tell each other how you're feeling without one another getting mad, storming off, whatever, you have a problem, because you really have to be able to communicate effectively in a good relationship. And balance comes with, okay, so for instance, now Adam, he gets up in the morning, he works in the morning, I do my thing, but we always set a block of time for each other at night. That's just our time. There's no laptops and phone calls, and that happens. I mean, it happens. We might not get 2 hours until, like, look, it's 8 p.m. and I'm on a hangout, and he's waiting to go out on a date. Okay, I've been there plenty of times, so I'm gonna make him sweat for a little while. But no, just the blocking of your time. Use it wisely and be understanding. That was the hardest part. You have to be patient and you have to be understanding with one another. For me, Adam is working still, but when I wasn't in it with him right next to his side, he was working really hard, and I had to give him props for that. I had to give him props because he was paying our bills, and he was taking care of Madeline, and he was taking care of me, and so you have to know that they're not doing it to ignore you. They're not on their laptop, on Facebook, just messing around. They're doing it to give you a better life. They're doing it to better the life of you, to better the life of their family. They're doing it for the end result. And so balance and communication, patience and understanding, huge things. Because you have to be able, in order to dream together, you have to be able to have all of that. You have to be able to talk effectively if you want to dream together. Men aren't mind readers. They're not going to know what you're dreaming up in your head. Dream together, to me, just means that you're able to sit and you're able to talk about all the things that you really want out of your life. And it's not just materialistic things, guys. What do you want from your relationship? What does your dream life look like in the mirror? When you look in the mirror, what do you want to see? For Adam and I, we set little goals and things for ourselves all the time that force us to kind of dream a little bit bigger. Every time we make money, we dream a little bit bigger, and you always have to do that, but don't do it separately, because then you start growing in different directions and you can create this void. Just sit down with each other, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, your time together, and talk about what you really want. What do you want out of life? What is it that you really want? It's not a hard question. Most people completely overthink this question, and I did too, and it's because I simply forgot how to be a dreamer. And thank God that I met Adam again, because he's completely taught me how to be a dreamer. And it's such a big deal, you guys. Like, people think that the things that they dream up are so unachievable, and they're not. You know, people just aren't willing to put in the time, the effort, and the patience and understanding that it takes to accomplish the life that they want to live. So when I say dream together, I mean just block out time. And you don't have to talk about it every single day, but talk about it. And talk, okay? Talk about how you're feeling. Talk about, just make time to talk. You can't shut each other out. And I think that that's the void that most people have created, is these guys that I've met, they just jump into an internet marketing thing. They don't communicate with their wife. Their wife doesn't even know they're doing it. And then all of a sudden the wife reads the bank statement. Well, there's money going to Empower Network. What the hell is Empower Network? She's getting pissed. He's trying to build a business. You know, he's on his laptop 24 hours a day. She's working her ass off. You know, there's just no line of communication whatsoever. And people like to laugh at me because I meet these people and they soon become my little projects, and I want to see what will happen if I can give them advice and steer them in a different direction. And I met this kid a year ago, and his name is Adam Knackers, and he has a wife, a beautiful wife, and they're also from the Midwest, from Minneapolis. Adam and his wife, Adam had been in Empower Network for, gosh, not that long when I met him in Texas, and his business wasn't taking off yet. This is a business that sometimes it takes a little while to get off the ground. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes hustle. And so Adam and his wife, you know, I met him out in Austin, and he, you know, explained to me his wife was very angry with him, and she just wasn't feeling him. She wasn't getting it, and it's because he completely shut her out. You know, he wasn't letting her into what he was doing, and she felt then like she was doing nothing, and so she felt kind of insignificant, which is a really big deal. So I told him to just give her a small task, you know, fill her in on what you're doing and give her some small tasks. Let her write an email, or let her make a video with you, or anything that's going to make her feel like she's a part of it. And he did, and she totally dug it. And by, Denver, she was at the Denver event with him. They were making pretty good money. And then shortly after the Denver event, they sold their belongings and packed up, and their dream was to go live in Costa Rica, and they did it. So now they're living in Costa Rica. They're killing it in the business, and they're happy, you know? So nothing's too far gone. And you just, I know it sounds so cliche, and I keep saying it, but just dream together. Just do one thing for me. If there's one thing that you take from this hangout, just dream together. Because it makes your relationship grow in a deeper direction, and you'll find out things about your partner you never even knew, and you'll see places of their soul that you never knew that existed before within this human being that you're living with. You know, not everything is surface level, and I guarantee you, if you dream together, you will stay together. I know that. But if you dream together, there's no doubt in my mind that with dream and passion and patience and a lot of understanding and great effective communication, you can have the best relationship, and you can have the best life that I think you've ever lived, because I'm a testimony to that. But I know it's hard. I know it's understanding. I know some of you are probably looking at me saying it's easier said than done. You know, you're living this great life now. You're right. And there are days and some people just aren't cut out for it. Some people need that constant, you know, unwavering like attention and dedication. So it's not for everybody. But I don't know. I'm happy, and we dream together, and I don't get a lot of time with him. You know, right now, we're still very work focused, so we're not taking a ton of time to be together right now. You know, we get our block of time at night, and a date night a week we set for each other. And other than that, we're doing our own things, but we're growing together, in the same direction because we dream together. So that was kind of long and drawn out. I'm sorry, Lisa.
No, that was perfect. That was beautiful, actually, Megan.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a couple of notes here that I want to share before I let you go. I
Yeah.
know Adam is waiting for you really quickly, but a couple of things that I took away from what you said, and I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now. There's almost 300 people listening to us right now. But the key is you said, you started getting into a relationship with Anna. And so my note that I took here was get involved with other wives of internet marketers, right? Because you share a common interest. Your husbands are internet marketers, so start getting involved with other wives of internet marketers or vice versa. Another thing is to share stories. Okay, this is not something that you said, but what I want to put out there is to share stories, because the same way that you can get involved with other people's wives, other internet marketers' wives, you can actually share stories like sharing this hangout, hint, hint, with your wife, right? Share this hangout with your wife, because there may just be one little thing that she needs to hear that will kind of tweak her mindset. Right? Another thing that you said is balance is key. You guys set an hour or a couple of hours at night, and then a day, a weeknight or whatever, to go hang out and get involved with each other like that. So balance is key, and you're both focused and working on your dreams together. You have your own dreams. He has his dreams, but you're working on those dreams together. And what I loved about what you said was that it's not always about the money. Because I know I've had conversations with you, Megan, and you said that, you really wasn't involved in the business side like that. It wasn't your interest in internet marketing. Your dream was to become a yoga instructor. And because he supported you, and because he's allowing you to live his dream through his dream, I think that's a beautiful thing. Because now you're living your dream because you allowed him to live his dreams.
Yep.
So let me see what other. And you said doing it to give you a better life. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
When I got involved with internet marketing myself, I do it because I know, just looking at the panel right here, I know from testimonies, from success stories all across the internet, that making a living online is real. I've been doing it since 6 years now. Making an income online is real. And the same way that you will go to a job to make a weekly income is the same way you have to treat your business. Show up. Like I'm in my office right now. I show up daily, and I do the action steps that it takes to become a successful internet marketer, business, entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Megan. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. If you're speaking, I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Have a wonderful night with Adam. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully I can get you and Adam together on a hangout soon.
That would be great. He shies away from these, He does. But people want to hear from him, so yeah, definitely. But thanks so much for having me, and you guys feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions that you need answered, or I said something that you just want me to shed a little bit more light on. Don't be scared. I'm here. I think that's a misconception. People just think that we're like untouchable or something. It's weird. We're human beings. Please contact us.
Yes.
No, if you guys have any questions, just definitely.
But Megan, before you go,
Yeah.
before you go, I'm seriously considering absolutely bringing you back to Women Lounge. and for that, I'm asking you guys, the audience who's watching us right now, if you guys are willing to put a vote on, I'm asking you please to let us know down below the comments, to let us know if you miss Megan on the Women's Lounge, because I sure do miss her, and I need her back there. I'm not asking too much, Megan. I'm not asking too much. I'm not asking for every week, but bi-weekly or every 2 or 3 weeks. All right, for you to be there.
You will make
Once a
some
month.
time, sister.
Once a month at least.
I've missed all of you too. If you're into the women's lounge, I have missed you much. But I've taken a long time to kind of find my own path in the world, and I think I've finally found that path that I want to follow and pursue, and the way that I want to take my life. And I appreciate all of you for supporting me on the journey. You know, Lisa, Anna, Christy, Kim, they've all been there. They all know what I'm up to. I appreciate the love and the guidance.
But
and
whatever the outcome is going to be,
I promise.
miss you. I miss you, babes, all right?
I miss you too. Okay, I'm going to go enjoy my date. You guys have some great information to learn about from these ladies, so I'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Okay.
Bye, Christy. Bye, Kim. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So the next person, isn't she great? She's awesome. I love to listen to her speak. She's awesome. So I want to move over to Christy. So Christy,
Yes.
I know a little bit of the history with you and Mike and the struggles that you went through. Actually, before Empower Network, you guys had, well, Mike actually had some success with online marketing. I know I remember when he had his own system. I was involved with that system and him back then as well. But things were somehow shaky a little bit. And just like Anna with the skepticism, did you actually experience that skepticism too? And at what point did he transition, and how did you accept the whole roller coaster ride that you guys were going on, and how did you overcome that before he actually started having some really major success like he's having right now?
Right. As for the skepticism, when we first started dating, he made it very clear that I needed to be able to support him in whatever he did. He didn't have that solid foundation with his first wife on, you know, this is what I want to do, and I need you to support me, and they just didn't have that, and that was one thing that broke them apart. And so he made sure that, you know, that was something that I could do. And I've never really had a hard time believing in him and what he could do. But there were times when it was like, oh, just why can't this work? I never had the thoughts of why can't you just go get a job, because I knew that wasn't the way to go. But sometimes it was hard because we'd go to my parents' house every Sunday when we first got married for the first couple of years. We'd go to their house for Sunday dinner, and if Mike was at guard weekend, or if he just didn't come for whatever reason, they would sit there and, you know, well, why doesn't Mike go back to school? Or, you know, Mike could do so good if he just went back to school, because, you know, my dad's an accountant, my brother's an accountant, my brother-in-law's an attorney, my other brother-in-law is a school district tech guy. They all went to school, and they've all got these jobs. And so my parents were like, just have him go get a job. Make him go get a job. Make him go back to school. Or if he wouldn't go back to school, then make him, you know, okay, I can't make him, but, you know, talk to him about going full-time in the military, because you get really good benefits, and if you go for 20 years, then you get retirement. And I've got, you know, the brother just older than me, he's making a career of the military. He's in the Navy. And it's hard, just, you know, because, like, we don't ever see that brother who's in the military. He's out in Virginia. And the last time I saw him was probably 2 years ago when my grandma passed away. And before that, before I got married 6 years ago. So, you know, I knew that those weren't the routes that he needed to take, but it was just, you know, why can't he just make this work? He would, you know, jump from program to program, and oh, so and so who I really like this guy, and he's, you know, now he's promoting this, and oh yeah, well, okay, yeah, I can see the potential in that, and then it would flop, and then we'd jump to another program and it would flop. And somebody mentioned earlier that, Anna mentioned it, that, you know, they sold juice. Well, yeah, we sold a lot of juice, we sold pills, we sold a lot of things. And so just getting over that skepticism was, when he finally made it, it was, hey, obviously we're making money, because I was substitute teaching full-time. I would get these long-term subbing jobs for pregnant women who would go on maternity leave after their babies, and so I knew that we weren't making it on my income because it wasn't enough, and so somehow we were still staying afloat. So I knew that he was always making money, even though it wasn't a lot of money. And then, it was one of those things that just slowly, little by little by little, things just came together. We started making consistently $1,000 a month, and then it came consistently to $2,000 a month. And, sometimes, we'd make $5,000 in a month, and sometimes we wouldn't make anything in a month. And so, my mom was one of those real big couponers. She's not like extreme couponing where she's like dumpster diving and stuff, but, she always knows a good deal. And even now, sometimes that we're making enough money that I don't have to coupon. When we first got married, I did a lot of couponing just like my mom did. And, I still love a good sale, but it's not one of those things that, oh, I can't go out and buy this because I don't have a coupon for it or whatever. I don't have that mentality anymore. So, I don't know, just the acceptance is there. Just at as things when he started making that consistent thing, then it was obviously it's easier to believe in someone when they're making a better income for it.
Right.
I don't know. It wasn't. I never had that problem. I'm probably a horrible example of. Well, I mean, a good example, but a bad example, just because I can't. Oh, well, this shifted in my mind, and then I started to believe in him, because I always had that feeling of belief in him, and that no matter what he did, he would make it.
Even with the several flops, because you mentioned that he joined one thing and it flopped. He joined another thing and it flopped. He joined another thing and it flopped. And he tried to sell the juice and that flopped. And he tried to sell the pills and that flopped. And it was like flop after flop after flop. At what point, I mean, was there any time in your mind that you was like, oh my God, is this thing going to work now finally this time? Like, what was there any doubt in your mind that once he decided and made a decision to join us at Empower Network, was there any doubt that he would be successful? Because right now, excuse me, right now Mike is actually in the top, I believe it's 5 or 6 of the most money made inside of Empower Network.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
He doesn't always show me these things, and I don't
I think he's like in the top 6, I think, or 7. He's in the top 10, you could say. He's up there in the whole entire company. He's on the elite team. He's on the leaderboards.
Right.
He's providing for his family, for you, so that you could be home and be with the kids. At what point, after all those flops, when he decided to join Empower Network, did it cross your mind that, oh my God, he's going to do this next thing, and this is probably not going to work either? It's probably going to be another flop. Or were you because I know that when he set the ground when you got together, that you were going to be, he wanted you to be supportive. That's what he needed because his previous wife wasn't.
Right.
So was there any, because of all the flops, was there anything that went through your mind when he joined Empower Network and started making all this money with Empower Network, that was there any doubt that he would be successful?
Yeah. I mean, when he first joined, it was one of those, okay, well, maybe it'll work. I hope it'll work. Just like I hoped and prayed that everything else would work. And I remember, like, his first event that he went to, and I think it was Atlanta, and he didn't decide until like 2 days beforehand that he was even going to go. because he kind of talked about it, and he's like, oh, yeah, I think I'll go. Because he always went to the company events. He always, no matter what he did, he put himself into it 100%. You know, he didn't just half crack it through. He went 100%. And 2 days before, he's like, okay, well, I've got to find the money to get to this event. And we had, you know, a little bit in our checking account, and he's like, I'm going to go. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And we don't have the money for me to go too, so I guess you're just going to go by yourself. Just, you know, like he normally did. And I would stress about it a little bit because, well, we got to pay for the flight, especially a last-minute flight, you know, because those are, you know, the cheapest ones out there. And then he's got to pay for a last-minute hotel, and maybe he can find somebody. And at the very beginning, I just, you know, I really didn't believe in Empower, you know, because it was like a brand new company, and then the payment processors went out, and all that garbage that happened at the very beginning. And then he just kept going at it, and it, you know, after seeing his belief after the first event, and after the payment processors did come back up, that's probably for me, like, when it first really started to sink in that, hey, this is here, and we've been doing it for this many months, and he's still working on it, we're still making money, this, you know, this is probably going to be it. You know, and, you know, fast forward to 2 years later, or however long Empower's been around, I'm so bad. But, you know, my days are all jammed. I don't even know what day it is. But, like, after seeing that, that's when the first real thing came up, that this is going to work, this is going to be here. And just like how you mentioned a minute ago, that he's, you know, climbing the leaderboards, and he's, you know, in the elite group and whatnot. And, you know, I mean, I know now, obviously 100%, that it's here and it's going to stay. But, so yeah, it was after that first Empower event, and like how everything kind of came together those next couple months and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Right. One last question for you before we move over to Kim. What does it take? Oh, I hear it echo. Can somebody mute yourself? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's better.
I don't hear it, so.
Okay. Okay, awesome. What does it take? What does it truly take to be a supportive wife?
Kind of how Meghan mentioned that, you know, Adam sleeps with his computer. There's some nights that Mike doesn't come to bed until I don't even know when. I kind of ask him in the morning, what time did you go to bed? Oh, I think it was around 3 or 4. It's like, okay. You know, I don't know sometimes when he comes to bed because he stays up half the night. And just to really be supportive, I just need to understand that if he wasn't doing this, he would be gone at a job. And so, yes, he's home, and it makes it so that, oh, I need to take somebody to the doctor, or I need to go to the grocery store. I don't have to wait for the kids to wake up, or I don't have to, you know, do those regular things that, you know, other moms have to do when their kids are sleeping because their husband's gone. I can do that any time of the day because he's home. So part of, you know, our agreement is, like, for years, he might not be so happy when I share this, but he's not a big house cleaner. He doesn't cook. He doesn't do dishes. He just doesn't do it. And, you know, I knew that going into it. I just, you know.
Let me ask you a quick question.
I was blinded by love. Sorry.
Is he watching?
I have no idea. He's downstairs, maybe with the kids. I'm not actually sure. I know he's got his computer, though, because I can Skype him if I need something, but, you know, through having more kids, it's made him, like, be better about, okay, well, it's not just me doing it, you know, and he talks, like, he outsources a lot of his stuff. And it's like, you know what, you can outsource this to Deborah, his assistant, who's wonderful, and we just appreciate her so much, but he can do this. Well, I can't outsource that. I can't outsource putting the kids to bed. I can't outsource doing the dishes every night. I can't outsource dinner. I mean, technically I can, but it's, not so good always. But, so we've come to these agreements where we rotate with the kids, and if I make a healthy dinner or meals throughout the day, then he does the dishes. And so, but like I said, at the very beginning, he didn't do any of that. So it's understanding, like taking that compromise, and, I took over a lot of everything in the very beginning, and as he has more success, he can contribute more to like the household things and the kid things, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Did I answer your question?
Yes,
I'm not
you
quite
did.
sure. Okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Christy. I really appreciate you taking the time to be away from the kids for an hour and a half already it's been, and hanging out with the ladies to share a little bit of your story and really what it takes to be a supportive wife to one of the, most, how do I describe Mike? In my eyes,
amazing.
To me, one of the most amazing marketers that I know, internet marketers that I know, because he shares just so much from his heart, and just all the valuable information, all the training that he provides. You're lucky to have him in your life, and he's just as lucky to have
he has a passion for it, and he loves it.
Yes, and he's just as lucky to have you in yours, because it takes a lot because I know what it's like to be an internet entrepreneur, and I know when you're passionate about something, when you love something so much, that staying up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is really nothing, because it's nothing when you love doing it.
Right.
Some people may be watching right now like, oh my God, I got to stay up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to be successful.
No, you don't.
You don't. You don't have to be up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to be successful. You don't have to lose sleep. You don't have to sacrifice a lot of things. Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice some things in the beginning, but we love what we do. And so staying up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is not such a big deal, because we have a passion for what we're doing. When you have a passion for what you're doing, you don't consider it to be work. You consider it to be fun.
Right. I mean, when Mike gets on the computer, it can be 2 or 3 hours that go by, and he doesn't realize it all because he's so into what he's doing. He says, "Oh, I'll be there in a minute. I just got to do this one quick thing," and then it turns into like 10 slow. But he doesn't even realize that he's taking that long, because he has that drive and that passion for it and just loves it.
Well, hearing that from you, I believe that I'm on the right track, because I actually do the same thing, and I drive my husband crazy.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So we're going to move over to Kim. Hey, Kim.
Okay. Thank you. I got so much from what the other ladies have already shared, and I resonate a lot with some of the things I've talked about, like communication and dreaming together. Ed and I are both dreamers, and so it's easy for us to dream together since we're both wired that way. We both actually work the business together, even though I have a full-time job. We are both not just supportive of each other, but we build it together. We're both actively involved. He works at full-time during the day, and then when I get home from my offline job, we always eat dinner together as a family, and that's one thing that's key, is setting aside blocks of time just for family time. So we always sit down together as a family, and we usually go out. So we're away from any distractions. We're away from the phone, away from the computer, and just family time. So even though our lives are very busy and we don't really have a lot of time together, we do block that time that's important. And we also have date nights, like some of the other ladies do. That's very important too, to have date nights and have those times set aside. And communication, of course, is so important. And another thing about, how much we are committed to doing this together, building this together as a team, we actually spent our honeymoon at an Empire event. a little bit of trivia there. Our honeymoon was our first Empower event in Austin, and we spent time outside of the events talking about our goals and our dreams and going over the things that we had learned, the notes we had taken, and we sat down and we planned out our life together and our goals and our vision and set our intentions together. And we went through the training and with Dave Wood and set our vision and intention together and had tremendous belief in that. And we started having a lot of success. And we hadn't reached our goals yet, but we were having success. And to show the level of belief in our vision, I actually found a school for autism for Ashley. And I heard that they had a waiting list. So I knew we're on track. We were going to reach these goals. And then we were going to be able to put her in there, even though, it's expensive. I knew we were going to get to that. So I went ahead and met with them, took a tour, and was asked to be placed on the waiting list. And they actually had an opening, which I didn't expect. But it was something I couldn't say no. It was just something that was so important to us. We were so clear in our belief and our vision that we went ahead and signed her up in the school even before we had the income. And then when school started last August, that month we hit the goal. We hit our first 5-figure month that month. But it was our belief that got us there. We had to believe it and see it first, or it wouldn't have happened. But as far as a supportive spouse, I mean, we are both supportive of each other, but since we're building this together, but I do have some things that I think are very important to share that would help others who have a spouse that is supportive or maybe not supportive. It would help in either case. And one of the things that I learned actually from Dave Sharp with the training he did, I think it was actually inside our blogging academy, excuse me, he said something that really struck with me, and it's something that you could use in business or in your personal life. It's very helpful. He said we need to be very clear to set intentions and not expectations. He said expectations only lead to resentment, and that really hit home with me. And it stayed on my mind ever since I've watched that video. And I could think of examples in business how that will help you. If you have expectations and you go into buying traffic and you don't get any conversions from that, you don't get any sales, what expectations did you have? That can, set you up for discouragement. Some people would, quit because they would get so discouraged. So your mindset's very important with what your expectations are when you go into things. It's something to really be aware of and think of consciously. What are your expectations? But I've personal life done in business because I already had a really positive mindset with business and have so much belief level that I didn't really need to apply it there. But in my personal life, that helps me grow as a person. To give you an example, now this is a made-up example. It doesn't really apply to me, but it could help someone else. For example, set clear expectations of what your boundaries are for your business and family. Like some people might not like to talk about business during dinner. That's not the case for us because I've been going to work all day and I want to hear about what happened, what went on with the business while I was gone. So I actually enjoy that conversation during dinner. This is just an example. It could be where this spouse might want that strictly for family time and not to talk about business. So if you communicate about your expectations, that's not going to lead to resentment. If you don't communicate about that, and sometimes women are very bad, or me personally, about not opening up about things that we feel and we expect and not verbalizing that and sharing that. We expect men to read our minds. So if you have an expectation like that and you don't share that with your spouse, they don't know, then that can lead to resentment. So if you have an intention instead, an intention is putting a goal into action. That when you have an expectation, you're just waiting for someone else to do something. And when you have an intention, you're going to have to take an action. when you have an intention, you have the goal, a set goal, and you have to take action towards that goal. So there's a very big difference in that. When you have an intention, you're going to go take it. Like if you have an intention in your relationship to be more loving, then you can take action on that intention. You could say to your spouse, when I come home from work, I would like a hug and a kiss, instead of just immediately launching into a business conversation. If you communicate that intention to be more loving and communicate it verbally, then you'll get that. If you don't communicate it and you don't set that intention and take action, you just have an expectation for it to happen, and you don't verbalize it and you don't take action on it, then that can lead to resentment. To me, that's something that's very powerful that can help you with your personal life as well as your business. And something I really wanted to share with you tonight. Back to you, Lisa.
That is awesome. You know, listen, the one thing that I think every woman on this panel discussed, or one word that every woman on this panel said that you need to have in your relationship in order to you know, have a successful relationship, and you know, with the relationship and the business, one word was communication. I think each and every person on this panel said something about communication. To me, at least, that's what I took home today. Is sometimes we have lack of communication.
Right.
Setting the intentions and not expectations. Setting intentions and not expectations. Not expecting something to happen, but making it intentional. Powerful. And yes, that's one of my favorite videos as well too. Which you can actually get your hands on, you know, by clicking the link below and getting your hands on that. But
exactly.
There was one common ground that I took away also from this hangout, and that was that each and every woman on this hangout, including myself, are regular people who had dreams and who have dreams. They took action on those dreams. Every single woman on this hangout went through some kind of struggle, ups and downs with watching their husbands trying to build their business. Every single woman, including myself, because I've been through my struggles as well, through my ups and downs and my roller coasters as well. But one common ground that I noticed, which each and every woman on this panel, including myself, was that we all finally had success with Empower Network. Now, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that, that finally we had a breakthrough? And there's no accident why that happened. Because for me, before I was with Empower Network, and I was with an MLM company that I'm still with, I'm still part of that because I love the products. But one thing, and I'm not knocking any MLM company, if that's what you're doing, great, keep doing that. But one thing for me, and I'm sure for a lot of the husbands of the wives, the successful husbands of the wives that are on this hangout tonight, one thing for me at least was the fact that my income was not matching up to the amount of work that I was putting in. And the moment that I transitioned my focus into Empower Network and learning the skill sets that it takes to be successful online is when the shift happened. And that's what I want to encourage each and every one of you who are watching this right now, who are not part of the Empower Network, is to click the link right below this video, because the same way, the same reasons why every single person on this hangout had husbands who are very successful six-figure internet marketers, right? The same way that they had struggles, the same way that I had struggles, you can end your struggles today if and only if you're married and you're watching this right now, only if you start doing the things that the women on this panel shared with you. And that is communication, setting intentions, supporting your spouse, getting more involved, connecting with other women who have husbands that are internet marketers or vice versa, right? Doing those things and then applying what you're doing on a daily basis, that, my friends, is what's going to take you to the next level and allow you to have the breakthroughs. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you. I know Megan's not here, so I want to thank her as well. Each and every one of you for hanging out with us. I hope that you got a lot of value. I know we've been on for like an hour and 45 minutes, and I usually like to do these hangouts and keep them to like an hour and 15 minutes, but we went a little overboard. So I want to thank you for hanging out with us this long. We hope that you were inspired. We hope that you got a lot of value from these hangouts. And we want to encourage you to not give up on your dreams and to keep moving forward and to get your spouses involved with what it is that you're doing. All right, so if you enjoyed this hangout, we would love to hear from you in the comments below what you thought about this hangout. What was your biggest takeaway from watching the ladies on this panel tonight? What was your biggest takeaway, and what do you plan on doing moving forward? What is your plan of action moving forward when it comes to, relationships with your significant other? What is your goal moving forward? So that's what we want to hear from you. Thank you so much, ladies. Good night, everyone. We love you, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Be on the lookout for the email where you saw this hangout or on Facebook or wherever it was, because we will be here again next week with some more guests to inspire and encourage you to build your online business.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.